Hey there! So if you're a beginner, I know you're super excited to start flying your DJI Avata, but before you do, I have some tips for you. In this video, I'm going to break down the most common mistakes that I see beginners make when they're just getting started flying their DJI Avata. Now, whether you're a beginner or you've been flying for a little while, this video is going to be very helpful for you. And if you're wondering why you should listen to me, my name is Dane Visuals and I'm a content creator from Jamaica who's been flying drones for over 6 years. So I know a thing or two. So without further ado, let's begin. So mistake number 1, not flying in an open area. Now I cannot stress this enough. If you're just getting started in FPV, find the most open space possible and get started. First of all, you shouldn't even be flying until you've put in some hours in a simulator. But if you've maybe spent your 20 hours or your 30 hours or how many hours in the simulator and you finally feel like you want to try, definitely go out into the most open area possible. You do not want any distractions. You do not want any commotion around you. You want to avoid things as much as possible because trust me, it is going to be very hard when you're flying for your first time. It is extremely nerve-wracking. You're going to feel like such an adrenaline rush, especially because you're going to be flying this super expensive item. You are going to be very nervous. So definitely try to avoid large crowds. Try to avoid places with lots of buildings. Do not fly close to anything. On your first couple of flights, you just want to get used to that orientation. It's going to be a while before you get used to it. But once you're used to it, you can gradually, improve over time. But trust me, do not go to anywhere crowded. Fly in the most open area possible. And that is going to save you a lot of time and money because you don't want to have your first crash. Mistake number 2, not adjusting your rates. Now guys, let me just tell you this from now. It is incredibly important for you to adjust your rates. The stock rates or the rates that you get when you just turn on your drone, it's just going to be way too high. It's going to be incredibly hard for you to fly, and it's just not really fine-tuned for beginners. If you are going to be flying in manual mode, then you're going to have to adjust your rates. Now rates, there are general rates that might be good for certain kinds of flying, but everyone is going to have different levels of control that they're more comfortable with. So to be honest, you're going to have to adjust your rates based on your own individuality. I have rates that I find that work for me, but your hand might be a little bit more heavier than mine, or maybe you like to push your sticks all the way forward, or it just really depends on you. I can leave my suggestion for rates down in the description below, but experiment and see what works for you. But guys, you have to adjust those rates. If you just go out there and start flying with the stock rates, it's going to be very wild, it's going to be hard for you to control, and it's probably going to lead to some kind of crash. So adjust those rates, adjust it in your simulator, try it in your simulator, and then go out there and try it in real life. Once you're experimenting with that and you find where's your comfort zone, then it'll make you a much better pilot. Number 3, not adjusting your gimbal angle. Now guys, I just did a video about this, about why it is extremely important to adjust your gimbal angle. I'll leave a link for it up here. But basically guys, gimbal angle works entirely different on FPV drones. On FPV drones, a higher gimbal angle is going to let your drone move a lot faster. So basically, you want to have your gimbal angle based on what you're flying for. So if you're going for those slow cinematic style movements, a gimbal angle between 0 to 10 degrees is perfectly fine. If you're a more skilled pilot, you can even go to 15 degrees. But a rule of thumb is a lower gimbal angle, and lower meaning 0. You don't want to go to -0 because it's going to, or less than 0, because it's going to be a little bit weird. But you want to have it between 0 to 15 degrees to get that smooth cinematic style flying. If you're going for fast cinematic flying, you could go all the way up to 25 degrees. But generally speaking, you're going to get smoother and more stable flying styles when you fly at lower gimbal angles. So always adjust your gimbal angles. And remember that when you adjust your gimbal angle, you're going to be adjusting the speed at which the drone moves. So you might have to adjust your rates as well. So as you can see, there's a lot of fine tuning, which I didn't even know that you had to adjust your gimbal angle. So trust me, that one had me by surprise as well. But luckily for you, I'm here. Also, if you have been enjoying this video so far, it would mean a lot to me if you could go ahead and click that subscribe button so I can make more videos like this just for you. And mistake number 4 is not updating your drone and your drone batteries. Now, it is going to also be extremely important for your flight performance and your flight stability, for it to keep your drone up to date. I know lots of times persons are afraid to update their drones because they don't want to lose certain features, or they don't want to adhere to certain rules. You know, sometimes it becomes stricter in terms of flight restrictions, but trust me, for the drone to operate smoothly and to give you the best flight performance, you want to keep your drone up to date, your controller up to date, and your batteries up to date. Keeping them up to date is going to affect everything as it pertains to your gimbal staying calibrated, as it pertains to your drone staying up in the air, being able to hover, just being able to operate in a safe, functional way. DJI drones are stockpiled with features that are only going to work perfectly fine if you keep your drone up to date. So they fix those bugs, they fix all the things that help you to get easier, stable flights. So I know you might be tempted to not update because you want to be, you know, a rule breaker, or you want to be outside of the matrix. But trust me, if you're a beginner FPV pilot, keep that drone up to date. Now, if you've been enjoying this video so far, the YouTube algorithm says that you're gonna love this video right here.